What's up, everybody? And welcome to another edition of High Mythology.
Hi,
Hi. The show where we get higher than
Itana.
Itana on the eagle's back, freaking out because of how high he is.
He's so high.
He's so fucking high. He's loaded. We tell you guys silly stories from mythology and folklore.
Yeah.
Tonight, we will be bringing you some Mesopotamian mythology.
Yeah.
Getting all up into Mesopotamia. Summertime up in here, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Yep. Ancient aliens.
Mm-hmm.
They always fall back on Samaria, so I'm just going to put that out there.
It's not as epic
Just like the truth.
as the Epic of Gilgamesh, but
Yeah, but it's
these
epic.
are pretty fucking dope stories.
Yeah, it's no Gilgamesh, but
Yeah.
you know, you can't
Usually
carve
you need
more than
Itana.
one stone time.
I'd rather get as high as Itana does.
Yeah, exactly. He gets higher than Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh did have some interestingness to it too.
Yeah.
Him and Inky do hang dong a lot together.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that was just...
That's just the way you do it back
Yeah.
then. What's up, bro? Let's go wash our balls together and have a talk.
Rock out with your balls out.
Rock out with your balls out. Just your balls.
Hashtag
Yeah. Hashtag what?
dicks out till infinity.
Dicks out till infinity. Dicks out till Babylon.
Not even in Babylon shit.
Yeah, we're close.
Yeah.
Yeah, dicks out to Uruk.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess without further ado, Kimbo, why don't you go ahead and take her away?
Thank you. This one is the story of Enuma Elish.
Enuma Elish.
In the beginning...
That's like Billie Eilish.
Yes. That was a great movie. I love that movie. I had no idea that was Spider-Man.
Oh, that's Billy Elliot.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that is. Sorry. Also a great movie.
Also a great movie. I was trying to make a joke about the musician.
Oh, yeah, that's who that was.
Yeah.
They don't commute.
They don't commute.
Anyway, in the beginning, there was water. And in the water, swirling is chaos. The water parts into two distinct entities, the god Apsu, freshwater, and the goddess Tiamat, which is saltwater.
Saltwater.
Upon their separation, the two deities came together, mixing their waters to create new generations of gods.
Mixing up them waters.
However, the young gods are loud and irritating, as children tend to be. Apsu, their great father, finds it difficult to sleep during the night and even more difficult to work during the day. On the suggestion of his vizier, Mumu. Apsu does what any loving father would do in such a situation. He decides to have them killed. Tiamat, aware of her husband's intentions, is rightfully upset at the idea of her children being murdered. They are loud and obnoxious, but they are also young, and she had brought them into this world. She is duty-bound to protect them. As such, Tiamat seeks Inki. Inki. There we go.
Inky.
Thank you. Her great-grandson. And tells him of his father's terrible plan. Inki is shocked, and the other gods, upon being told of their father's murderous intentions, are similarly taken aback.
He could have just asked us to be quiet.
Uncertain of how to act, after a good deal of contemplation, Iki comes up with a masterful plan. Late one night, he sneaks into Apsu's abode and pours sleep upon him. Mumu tries to wake Apsu and warn him, and is instead captured and chained up. With his father incapacitated, Inki removes his crown and places it upon his own head, before slaying Apsu where he lies. In a stroke of genius, Inki decides to create a dwelling for himself and his fellow younger gods within the corpse of their father. in the subsequent excitement and celebration, Inky and his wife, Deminka, come together and bear a son, Marduk.
Them bearing a son isn't the weird part. It's the weird part how they had to add in the excitement, like, ooh, we're moving into my dad's corpse. Ooh, isn't this so exciting? Aren't you turned on right now?
Right. Marduk, whose greatness and splendor exceeds even the greatest amongst the younger gods. Meanwhile, Tiamat grieves the loss of her husband. She may have warned Inky of Apsu's plan in the first place, but she had never intended to simply swap out one death for another.
I didn't think he would be renting out my husband's scrotum on Airbnb.
In her grief, Tiamat gathers an assembly of great allies with her son Kingu at its head. She creates 11 terrible chimeras, horrendous, disgusting monsters, the likes of which the world had never seen, and bestows upon Kingu the Tablets of Destiny.
The Tablets of Destiny!
Legitimizing his rule over the entire universe. Her army assembled, Tiamat declares war upon the younger gods, seeking terrible vengeance for the death of her first husband, Apsu. I'm assuming she gets married later. The war does not go well for the younger gods, and many fearsome battles ensue, and there are numerous turncoats, gods who abandon Inky and instead support Tiamat. With her great army and her 11 monsters, Tiamat is believed to be invincible.
Check out these monsters.
Inky, fearing for the worst, speaks to his grandfather, Tiamat's son, Ashar. He tells Ashar of their terrible odds, and Kingu, wielding the Tablets of Destiny, leading the 11 monsters into battle. And Ashar, concerned, seeks out his son Iniki's father, Anu, and asks him to go to Tiamat and to appease her. Anu sets off, but the closer he comes to Tiamat, the greater his fear. In the moment of weakness, Anu turns back, returning to his father in shame.
Yeah.
The younger gods are running out of options quickly, and in desperate attempt, Ashar suggests Marduk, son of Iniki, serve as their champion. Marduk is brought before them and asks the gods who he will be fighting. They tell Marduk,
"You will fight no god. You will be fighting the goddess, Tiamat."
Marduk, apparently feeling confident, declares that he will fight and defeat the goddess Tiamat.
Fuck it, why not?
But only on one condition. Upon his victory, he is to be proclaimed the supreme god, ruler over even Eniki, Anu, and Ashar. The younger gods have little choice, and they must either accept Marduk's term or submit to the monstrous wrath of Tiamat. In the end, there was no decision to be made at all. Even Lahmu and Laamu, Tiamat's firstborn children, are eventually convinced that Marduk's worthiness, although not without first drinking themselves into a stupor. Marduk will be the supreme god.
Just imagine that, like the total drunk just being overly friendly at a bar. Yeah, bro. I didn't like you. I didn't like you at first. But you know, no, it's okay now. It's okay.
Oh, good.
Well, God, now that I'm drunk, I'm like, fuck it. Why not, right?
The younger gods provided Marduk with a throne that sat above all the other gods. They made him a scepter and provided him with a wide array of weapons with which to fight Tiamat. A bow and a quiver, a mace, bolts of lightning, and 4 winds. The gods kneeled before him, proclaiming,
"Lord Marduk, your word is the first among all gods. If you command destruction, it shall be so. If you command creation, it shall be so."
Marduk, proclaimed supreme god and equipped with every weapon he could want for, sets out to capture and slay his great-great-grandmother Tiamat. Using the 4 winds, he traps her, and then he approaches in a chariot, condemning her for the trouble she had created. Enraged at such treatment, Tiamat makes a mistake of joining Marduk in a single combat. Marduk throws a net over Tiamat, and try as she may, she was unable to escape. In a rage, she opens her mouth to swallow Marduk whole, but instead he fills her mouth with Imhulu, the evil wind. Dazed and confused,
That's a fart. Open your mouth. Well, catch this.
Tiamat becomes incapacitated, and Marduk takes the opportunity to fire an arrow into her heart. Tiamat, the mother of all gods, is slain. In one last act of defiance, he smashes Tiamat's head in with a mace, and from her crushes the eyes, flows the waters of the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers.
Tigris and Euphrates, baby.
Thank you. I do not know how to say that. Sorry.
Euripides and Tigris.
Splitting his mother's corpse in two, Marduk creates the sky from one half and the earth from the other, and in the skies creates a place for himself, his grandfather Anu, and his father Enki. And Enlil.
Yeah, Enlil.
Should I tell you a little bit before too?
It's up to you.
It's a Babylonian creation myth.
that was the least enthusiastic. Should I tell you about the thing?
It's on a tablet.
It's a Babylonian creation, man.
From Sumer
Babylon
and Akkad. And yeah, they found it in an excavation.
Yeah, Babylon.
Yeah. Okay. That's really
I want to see them hanging gardens, Cam. Where's the gardens? Where are you keeping the gardens? What did the ancient aliens do with them?
But
Snap.
okay. Now we are on to the story of Arapa.
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 All right. This one is a Mesopotamian myth.
Mesopotamia.
Adapa, the first man created by Enki, the god of wisdom, is a man of many qualities. The great god had seen fit to endow him with a great wisdom, intelligence, strength, bravery, a firm cock, and yet has left him mortal.
Yeah, just left him mortal. Yeah, you gave me this giant dick, but every time it gets hard, I pass out. You did not design my body properly.
One day, Adapa is fishing in the Gulf when a strong southerly wind causes his boat to capsize. Adapa is hurled into the ocean and, spluttering and choking on the salty water, rages at the south wind, breaking its wings so that it can no longer blow. Anu,
fuck you, south wind. Fine, I'm leaving.
Anu, the sky god, is furious and sends for Adapa, demanding the man explain himself. Before heading to confront Anu, Adapa is taken aside by Enki, who counsels him on how to behave before the gods. Enki was the father of men, and as such, Adapa trusted him more than any others, listening intently to Enki's advice. Enki tells him,
"Firstly, you must flatter Tammuz and Grisha Geshida, the guardians at the gate. Tell them you remember them from another time, maybe a party or something. That you know the names and their importance, but they were super drunk when you met, so they probably don't remember you. That'll please the guardians, and they'll assume they did something embarrassing at the party, so they'll just speak favorably about you to the great Anu. When you come into the presence of Anu, you must refuse all food and drink you are offered. The food that Anu offers will be the food of death, a punishment for your transgressions against the south wind, who is super sensitive. I mean, you really just said, what the fuck, and really broke the south wind there. That said, you must accept any oil and anoint yourself with it. Just get all oiled up. And then put on any clothes he offers you, no matter how skimpy.
just wear them.
Just wear them. Just cover yourself in oil and throw those daisy tooths on. Take one for the team.
Adapa is sure to do exactly what Inky tells him. He honors both Tammuz and Kashida respectfully at the door, and while anointing himself and accepting a robe,
Spare Daisy Dukes.
declines all food he is offered.
Balls hanging out one side.
Jesus. Anu asks him to explain his actions, and Adapa does, admitting that he acted rashly and out of anger. However, Adapa does not realize that he had been tricked, for Inky feared that Anu may offer Adapa the food of eternal life, and having made Adapa wise and brave already, had to ensure that his creation remained tethered somehow, unable to rise and challenge him. As such, Inky had deceived Adapa, convincing him to decline the food that he was offered, and as such ensuring that men would never gain immortality. Anu, perplexed by Adapa's refusal to eat the food of life, sends the men back to Earth to live out his life as a mortal.
I also like to imagine that he wasn't supposed... He told them the reverse of everything he was supposed to do. He gets all oiled up and slides on the Daisy Dukes and comes in and Anu's like... What the fuck are you wearing? I can see your testicles. Why are you covered in like 2 quarts of oil?
That's what your angels gave me.
Yeah, I thought I was supposed to anoint myself with the oil. That was lamp oil.
Dude.
Yeah.
Anu meant no harm to Adapa, and his offering of the food to Adapa had been attempting to find a solution to one of the fundamental existence questions of life. If you are born only to die, and you live knowing that you will soon die, what's the point of living?
Damn, son.
The remainder of this tale is too damaged to recount.
Yeah.
But it appears that Anu, Iniki's father, summons his son and chastises. Wow.
He summons his son and his chesties.
And chastises him for deceiving Adapa and preventing him from tasting the food of life.
I like how you said dangerous at first. The rest of this story is too fucking dangerous to finish. Sorry, guys.
I mean, the tablets.
Sucks to suck, nerds.
These are just what the tablets have, but they can assume towards the end of them.
That's funny.
Okay.
That's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. I can't go on anymore. I can't go further.
It's over.
The ancient aliens are watching me.
All right. Next up is Itana.
Itana.
This one's Sumerian.
Sumerian.
You can find this in the British Museum.
Oh, yeah. Which
Okay.
one?
What I'm doing right now, Itana.
Which museum?
It just says
The British one. You can find this in the British Museum.
The British Museum.
The British. That's just. Yeah, you'd probably find it somewhere in the UK. I mean,
Check out the fucking
just
gift
go
shop.
find it. Yeah. They got keychains.
Somewhere. I'm sure they check the back.
Yeah.
All right. Itana.
They sell locks of Shemesh's chest hair.
Jesus. A lock of Babylonian.
A lock of Babylonian chest hair. Strongest rope known to man.
Real. According to the Sumerian king list, Itana reigned as the king of Kersh early in the 3rd millennium BCE.
Oh. History.
He was probably chosen as a main character for this myth.
Because he was king.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. So, shortly following the emergence of order from chaos and the birth of humanity, the gods created the great city of Kish. Having built magnificent walls to protect the inhabitants of the city from the dangerous outside, the gods select a king from amongst the people. Itana is chosen as king by the goddess Ishtar.
King of Ishtar!
And he immediately sets about building a shrine to the god Adad.
Dad.
Beside the shrine...
I just imagine all these ancient Sumerian gods and then just a full-on dad. King khaki pants, everything. Glasses. A
Jesus.
little bit of a belly.
Yeah. House slippers.
House slippers.
A robe.
Horrible jokes.
Yeah, I gotta deal with that all day. Beside the shrine, there grows a poplar tree, and within the poplar tree, an eagle and a snake made their homes. The two creatures both swore an oath of loyalty before the sun god Shamash,
Shamash.
promising to watch over one another's children. This is a fruitful arrangement, and both the eagle and the serpent live in comfort and happiness until one day, while the snake is out looking for food, the eagle consumes his children, breaking the oath.
Jesus. Yeah, no, they did great until one day.
Uncle Boris!
Yeah.
Why are you eating us?
Why are you eating us? Shut up. Eagle eat.
My arm!
My arm. How did you think this was going to end?
Oh, wait, they're snakes.
Yeah, I know.
My tail!
Stop eating my
Sorry.
arms and legs. Wait, I'm a snake.
Sorry. The snake returns from his hunt to find his nest destroyed and his children gone. Around the nest, the footprints and feathers of an eagle lie scattered,
It's a big
and to
old
the
bird
snake
shit.
makes the obvious conclusion. Lifting his head to the sky, he calls the sun god, crying out for justice. Shamash, far above, takes pity on the snake, and he tells the snake to hide itself inside the carcass of a wild beast and wait for the eagle to arrive to feed. When the eagle arrives, the snake is instructed to seize him, pluck
his
his
dick
feathers, sever his wings, and toss him into a pit. The snake does as Shamash instructs, and soon the
Shamash.
eagle lies broken at the bottom of a pit, punished for breaking his oath sworn before the sun god. At the bottom of the pit, the eagle looks up to the sky and cries out to Shamash. Shamash looks down upon the eagle with pity, and he tells the eagle,
What you did was a terrible thing. You broke your word, a sacred oath sworn before me. But I will have mercy on you, and I will send Etana, the king of Kish, to help you. Shamash out.
It is no coincidence that Etana himself was, at that very moment, also petitioning to Shamash. Etana had learned his wife was barren, and he feared dying without an heir to the throne. Shamash tells Etana to go to the pit and rescue the eagle. Upon receiving the eagle, Etana nurses the bird back to health, and the two grow close. While Etana nurses him back to health, the eagle repays the king's kindness by interpreting his dreams. In one dream, Etana ascends to the heavens riding upon an eagle and is offered the plant of birth by Ishtar, who had been the one to select him as king. The eagle concluded that his dream is a message and an instruction for them to attempt this very journey. His wings stronger and his feathers having grown back, the eagle carries Etana into the sky. Clutching tightly to his underbelly of the eagle, Etana is carried so high that when he looks down, he can no longer see the city, or in fact the entire earth. Etana grows afraid and cries out to the eagle,
Bro, stop it. I ate too many edibles. I'm freaking out, man. I can't see the land or the fucking sea. I'm so fucking high, dude. Just please put me down. Drop me in the Taco Bell parking lot. I don't want to go to heaven. Just take me back to Taco Bell.
Etana, so desperate to return to the safety of solid ground, lets go of the eagle and plummets.
Ah!
The eagle, shocked, dives after Etana and manages to catch him before he hits the earth. The two of them decide it is probably best if they return to the city. Shortly after their return, both Etana and his wife begin to have similar dreams. The eagle, interpreting the dreams, once again tells Etana that the gods wish for him to make a second attempt, to once again ascend heavenward. Harnessing every ounce of courage, Etana clings to the eagle, and as they ascend, and this time they reach heaven without incident.
He took less edibles on the second trip.
Unfortunately, the tablets have uncovered were cut off at this point. It is understood that based on the Sumerian king list, that Etana had a son named Balik, who succeeded him and reigned for over 1,500 years. As a result, it is fair to assume that they were greeted warmly by the gods and that Ishtar gifted Etana the plant of birth, with which he and his wife were able to conceive a son. That is the understanding with these tablets.
That's the understanding of the tablets. Ishtar was like, yeah, you can have babies now.
Sweet. You're good to go, bitch.
You're good to go. Spoiler alert, someone's banging your wife, and that's how she's going to get pregnant. Well, you're up here flying around on the bird.
Ooh.
Gilgamesh is down there giving you a son.
All right, next story. You ready?
Next story.
The Atrahasis.
The Atrahasis. Is this the Noah's Ark?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because this was a part of Gilgamesh, too.
Yes.
Yes. Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Let's do it, motherfucker.
The story itself is very similar to the flood story of the Epic of Gilgamesh. Only in this edition, it is not Utnapishtim, but Astrahasis, who builds the ark. And it is almost identical to the older story of the Eridu Genesis, of which they have only uncovered fragments.
Story.
In real
too
life,
dangerous.
the flood itself was likely caused by natural local events.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway.
Just simple natural local events like God hates us.
Yeah.
Or a storm.
God's
a
hate us.
natural dam breaking.
taking
No,
my
God
shit,
hates
boy.
us. That's probably why.
Following the creation of Earth, but before the first human beings, the gods were on land. Oh, the gods work on the land. Digging out those two rivers.
Tigris and Euphrates.
Yes, thank you. Laying the foundations for cities. However, the younger of the gods began to rebel against the intense labor, and so Enki, the god of wisdom, decides to create a new race of creatures who will do the work for them. The god Wiliu offers himself up as a sacrifice, and the goddess Nintu mixes his body and mind with clay to create 7 males and 7 female humans. The creation of humanity is a huge relief to the gods, who no longer need to labor long hours, leaving the work instead for their new servants.
Ancient alien shit right there, Kim.
In time, however, the people grow too loud, and always shouting and fighting and singing and preventing the gods from sleeping.
Party! Woo!
Enlil, the supreme god, finds it particularly irritating and decides something must be done. Looking down at their creation, the gods considered what to do. The humans had clearly been of great use, but it was clear now that their creation had been a mistake.
Woo! I just imagine it's all frat bros and party girls. Yeah. Show your dance! Woo! Don't talk to Ishtar like that.
For real.
Woo! Spring break!
Enlil proposes a cull, lowering the population below by unleashing a drought, disease, and famine upon the earth. This does not have the desired effects. Instead of lessening their noise, the disasters sent by Enlil only serve to make humans louder. They cry up to the gods, and Enki in particular, to relieve their suffering. Enki offers guidance, but Enlil's patience has worn thin, and so he persuades the other gods to join him in summoning a terrible flood to wipe humanity from the earth. Enki looks down at the humans.
Just the logic there too. Like, help us, Enki, please. And he's like, I'll offer you wisdom. Learn to swim, bitch. Guys, we gotta flood this shit. They keep bugging me. I'm helping you out as much as I can. Doggy paddle.
Get those legs up.
Get those legs going. Don't skip leg day, if you know what I mean.
I'll limber. Be prepared.
But help us.
Enki looks down at the humans, his creation, and feels pity for them. He knows he cannot save them all, so he descends to the earth to warn Atrahasis, a kind, loyal, and wise man, of the impending flood. Wow. He tells Atrahasis,
"Build yourself a big-ass boat, and on that boat put 2 of every animal, except for those dragons over there, and then also leave off the Sasquatches and that fucking horse with a horn on its head that keeps looking at me funny."
yeah, none of those.
None of those. Yeah.
Atrahasis does as he is bid, and no sooner than he completes his work than great clouds gather in the sky and deluge pours across
Deluge
pours across the land.
It's a deluge.
The storm is terrible, and even the gods are afraid, and they wept as they looked down upon the terrible destruction and suffering. As the sky clears, even Enlil, who had proposed the flood, realized his mistake. He was repentant, wishing that he had never brought such a repentant. Wishing he had never brought such a terrible catastrophe upon the people below. He knows, however, what is done, and that there is no way to undo it. At this point, that Atrahasis, far below, finds land and opens his ark. Having witnessed such a humble ordeal. Is it really a humble ordeal?
Such a humble ordeal.
Eternally
Did you mean
grateful.
everyone drowning?
For real. And eternally grateful to the gods for his family's survival, he immediately sends up a sacrifice to the heavens. Enlil is caught off guard, confused as to how there could be sacrifices still ascending even after he had just killed off all the humans.
Well, what creature was that didn't get to make it? Come here, Pikachu. Well, there's only one of you now. I guess I'm just going to have to eat the other one.
Inky comes forth and explains himself before the gods. At first, Enlil is furious, and despite his prior regret, he berates Inky for going behind his back. Inky proposes a new solution to the problem, however, one that will prevent the populations of humans from ever growing too great again. He says,
"We will create new humans who are not as fertile with smaller testicles. We can prevent them from overpopulating by creating women and men who cannot reproduce children. Others who will remain virgins well into the 40s and be really well versed at the World of Warcraft. Then there will be people who just live with the parents. That's just what they're going to do. They never really get out of it. Some people just won't have time for it. They'll just be too busy. They'll just work all the time. Or maybe they don't want to have kids in the economy, We'll bring forth demons who will steal infants away. Okay, maybe I'm going overboard there with that part, but, they'll cause miscarriages too. That way it kind of evens out, right? This way, we'll never need to worry about humans growing too noisy. We can live our lives in peace while they're down there just haplessly banging, just nothing coming out.
Too small testicles.
Too small. We'll make guys that just don't even have enough to hit any walls. Just barely goes in there.
Never any satisfaction.
We'll get everyone hooked on these funny plants that'll make the sperm just all weak and sad. We'll paddle Coca-Colas around and give people the diabetes. Yeah, we'll make people social distance no less than 6 feet away. Good luck having kids when you're just splooging on your computer screen.
Jesus Christ. The gods all agree that this is a fantastic plan.
You've really thought this out, Inky.
And so set about creating their new race of humans. The new humans populate the world below, inhabiting the ruins of the cities and building them up to their former glory. Atrahasis, however, is taken by the gods and lifted away to a new paradise, far from the new race of humans, where he lives in peace and comfort for eternity with his family.
Big ass balls.
Gigantic dick.
Gigantic.
Just
gigantic balls. Because that's how the first humans were.
All right, here we go. Naked ladies coming up.
Oh, hello.
This one is called... Hold on. I gotta burp so bad.
That's an interesting story from Sumeria, you say?
Thank you. Yes, it is Sumerian. It's a Sumerian poem. This is The Descent of Inanna.
Inanna. Oh, she's going down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. She is the queen of heaven. Thank you. I guess I should actually explain this one. Okay, so The Descent of Inanna is a Sumerian poem written sometime around 19 to 1600 BCE. The story tells of Inanna, the queen of heaven, traveling from the sky down to the underworld to visit Grishkinal, her sister, whose husband had recently died. The story is one of injustice and the unfairness of life, with Inanna's bad choices leading to the suffering of others. Mm-hmm. And I think we talked a little bit about this.
We talked about this one in the Inanna, Ishtar and Inanna episode. Because we did an episode about Ishtar, the first goddess.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but we didn't get in depth, so I'm very interested to get balls deep in it. Get balls deep in Inanna.
I'm pretty
sure
with a banana. I've read this in a Native American story.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is the one that they have like a similar story.
Yeah.
The like two connected stories from people who would have never ever encountered each other.
Never encountered, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that aliens are real, but
shit.
Saying.
All right. Inanna, clad her finest clothes and crown of heaven shining brightly upon her head, stands before the gates of the underworld. Pausing before she enters, she turns to her faithful servant, Ninshuber, and imparts instructions on how to rescue her, should she fail to return. Ninshuber bows his head respectfully, and Inanna steps forward, knocking loudly on the ancient gates.
Sounds like she's getting ready for a bad blind date.
Yeah, right.
I'll text you in half an hour, and if I need you to come pick me up, we'll claim emergency.
Yeah. Behind the gates, Nettie, the gatekeeper, appears and demands to know who seeks the entrance to the underworld. She answers,
"Oh, it's me. It's Inanna, the queen of heaven, Nettie, in all my beautiful glory."
Nettie frowns and says,
"Why would you want to enter the land from which you will not return?"
She replies,
"Oh, because my sister Arishka has been widowed, and her husband Gugalina has died, and I've come for the funeral. We're going to have a wicked rage after. We're doing like an Irish wake, so we're all pretty much just going to day drink and smoke a ton of cigarettes."
Nettie asks Inanna to wait outside while he consults Irishknal. Upon learning of her sister's arrival, Irishknal seems uncomfortable, falling silent for a long time. Eventually, she tells Nettie to bolt the 7 gates dealing into the underworld, and then let Inanna in 1 gate at a time, removing a royal garment for each she passes. Nettie does as he is bid, and he allows Inanna to enter the underworld. At each gate, he requests that she removes a garment or an item. She first removes her crown, then her beads, her ring, her scepter, and then even her clothes are removed. And by the time she enters the last gate, Inanna is completely naked. She turns on Nettie, demanding an explanation for this undignified treatment. He says,
Do not question the ways of the underworld. They are perfect.
And perky.
Inanna.
Inanna enters the throne room and bows before Ixnal, bare and humbled. And as she approaches the throne to speak to her sister, the underworld judges, the Anuna, quickly surround her, holding her in place. Together they passed judgment upon Inanna, for it was she who caused the death of Gugalana, the bull of heaven, for she had sent him down against the king of Uruk, Gilgamesh. And after he had spurred her advances, and Gugalana had been killed, Ishkanal bears down upon Inanna, cursing her for her selfishness and proclaiming her guilt. She strikes her sister, killing her, and mounts her corpse from a hook on the wall.
Damn, son.
Meanwhile,
at the Hall of Justice,
Ninshuber had been waiting for his mistress to return. When 3 nights and 3 days had passed, Ninshuber ascends to heaven and seeks Inki, Inanna's father, begging for help. Inki, worried about his daughter, sends 2 galas, creatures neither male nor female, down into the earth to find Inanna. The 2 gala enter the underworld as if flies. As they approach, Inrishgal, the queen of the underworld, begins to suffer greatly, experiencing pains as if in childbirth. The Gala express their sympathy for her pain, and the queen, grateful, offers them a gift of their choosing. They tell her,
"We want nothing more than the corpse that hangs from the wall."
And she gives it to them willingly.
Okay.
The Gala, having found Inanna, resuscitated her with the food of life, and she rises from the dead. Leaving the underworld, however, is not easily done. Having entered the realm of an Ishgal, one can only depart if their place is taken by another. The Gala ascend with Inanna and try to find a substitute for her, first seeking Ninshubar, and then her sons Shara and Lul. Inanna, however, is having none of it, for Ninshubar and her sons are dressed in clothing of mourning, believing her to be dead.
Aww.
When she comes across Dumuzi, her lover, she finds him dressed in rich clothing and jewels. Inanna, hurt and angered that he is not mourning her as the others, demands that the Gala seize him as her substitute in the underworld. Dumuzi, panic-stricken, appeals to the god Utu and is turned into a snake. He tries to slip away, but is caught and is carried off into the underworld to remain forever.
Don't cut off my legs.
Before he can arrive, however, the Gala are stopped by his sister, Grashitiana, who volunteers to share his fate, each spending half a year in the underworld and half a year in the heavens. It is by this biannual cycling that the seasons were created, as Geshitiana and was the goddess of agriculture and fertility, and could bless the earth for only half the year. Inanna, meanwhile, returned happily to her old life in the heavens, most probably unrepentant for the suffering that she had inflicted upon those around her.
Not my problem. Sorry, not sorry. Hashtag dicks out till Babylon. I like to think she just never put her clothes back on either. She's like, well, fuck it.
For real.
I stroll out of heaven naked.
Woo! Ready for the last one?
Woo! Yes, we are.
Okay.
Let's do it.
This one is called The Curse of Agade.
Agade.
This is a Neo-Sumerian.
Oh. Interesting.
In the great city of Akkad, in the center of the world, ruled by the magnificent Naram Sin, the descendant of Sargon himself, the gates of Akkad are constantly flowing with wealth, taxes, and tributes, gems, and treasures. However, upon seeing the riches pouring into Akkad, the goddess Inanna, later Ishtar, feels that she and the other gods ought to be honored by those in the city. Temples should be built, festivals held, sacrifices offered.
For real? What the fuck?
What?
Where are my sacrifices? Bring me a Pikachu. Wait, we don't have them anymore? How about a unicorn? Nope, let them die in the flood.
What about a polar bear skin?
Polar bear skin rug. No, haven't found those yet.
The supreme god Enlil does not agree. Enlil had destroyed Kish and placed the great Sargon on the throne of Akkad, leaving the goddess Inanna to watch over him and the city. However, now that Naram Sin is king, Enlil is no longer pleased with the city. For what reasons he will not say. He instructs the
Don't want
gods
to talk about it.
He instructs the gods to withdraw from the city and no longer offer blessings to its inhabitants.
Pull out. They don't get any blessings anymore. 86 the ancient aliens. Back to your UFOs.
Naram Sin, king of Akkad, dreams of a grim future for his city and empire. He seeks cities burned to rubble and sees floods and famines and invaders from outside lands. Naram Sin decides to enter a period of mourning and prayer lasting 7 years, waiting for the gods to offer counsel. However, no gods come to Naram Sin, and fearing for the future of his people and city, he decides he must do something to draw their attention. Naram Sin marches on the city of Ekur, the home of Enlil, and puts the temple to flame. The house of Enlil is turned to rubble and inside on display for all to see. This act is the worst of all transgressions and the greatest desecration. Thank
He
you.
put his balls on
Possible.
Enlil's drum set.
And then played with it. So great had been Naram Sin's anger that he had turned to vandalizing the house of the supreme god. The other gods now come to Enlil's side. He may have been unreasonable before, but Naram Sin's actions were unforgivable. The king had entered into battle he could not possibly hope to win, and he was to suffer the greatest of punishments. As the empire was overrun by famine and foreign invaders, Enlil curses Akkad, driving out all who lived within its wall and leaving it barren. Naram Sin had, at the cost of thousands of lives, learned his lesson. One must never turn his back on the gods.
Oh, shit. And that's how Akkad got abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Foreign invaders, all that other shit.
Yeah.
And that's all I got for you guys.
Yeah, that's why you don't fuck with the gods.
Check back next week
Yeah,
for some
check
Greek.
back next week for some Greek stuff. Next week we'll be doing some Greek. Our resources were Mythology of Mesopotamia by History Brought Alive. Check them out on Facebook or YouTube for free bonus stories. Check them out at www.subscribepage.com/NBA. HBA. That makes more sense.
History Brought
It's
Alive.
like, how is it tied into the basketball?
Yeah, they have some free stories on there.
Check
They're
out
pretty dope.
subscribepage.com
I thought that was
/LeBron James.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, check out our merchandise, guys.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of merch.
I made that shit.
Yeah, Kim made the merch, so let us know what you think.
I'm going with more. I'm
yeah.
working on it.
Teespring.
It's hard to do pictures and stories, but I'm making it work.
We'll have some links around.
Yeah.
But if you're listening, teespring.com.
That's TEE Springs. Spring.
Spring.com /high-mythology-merch.
Hey.
Hey.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now I do.
We learn something new every day.
Check it out.
Get
yourself a coffee cup.
Yeah, we got cool coffee cups, tumblers,
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoodies are pretty
Hoodies
dope. And
are
those
always
fucking
good.
leggings, dude, those are pretty dope too.
Yeah, there's some leggings.
pretty
You can
stoked
get high
how nice
mythology
they
on your
looked.
butt crotch.
No. On your shelf.
On your shelf. Yeah. Put that shit on the shelf. Yeah. That's our story. That's what we have.
Hope you guys like it.
Hope
We'll
you
see you guys
liked
next
it.
week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.